minus 14 Celsius, 1, 2, 3 degrees Fahrenheit. It's cold, really cold. Okay, what I'm doing today, got my light, got the bike up on the center stand from the opposite side. Gonna pull the side stand off and upgrade that to the newer style. It's got the web and it's got the little tab here to hold it from going up too far. First I'm gonna pull the spring off. This is my hockey stick, or my hockey blade stone and sharpener for hockey blades, but it comes with a nice hook that you can grab like that. So I'm gonna see if that'll work. Don't know. I've got other hooks, but I think this will work good. Whoa, 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 whoa. Pull the whole bike that way. So I don't know if it's any tighter that way or looser this way. I don't know. That way there. Ooh. Plan B. Okay. Not sure how this is going to work, but I'm going to bring the kickstand out like that, stick a screwdriver in there, get the camera out of the way. Probably going to shoot me in the fucking face or something here. There we go, like that. Now, there's a cotter pin in here. Look in the camera there. There's a cotter pin right there. Trying to see this upside down here. There we go, like that. And just need my needle nose pliers or something. I'm gonna get my short pair and some side. Just trying to get those as straight as possible. Too much crap in the way. I got new ones. Push this pin up. There's a bushing in there, and it goes into the slot here. So I have to wiggle it out. Might have to take this linkage off. There we go. See, this tit here goes into that slot. You know what, and these bushings on here, that one's not too bad. This one's getting pretty worn out. Oh yeah. I don't know if I can make one. Okay, got a new pin. I forgot to bring a rag. Oh, here's one. This bushing is supposed to move in here. That's what locks it in. There's a little lock right there. That's Harley's patent. That's why you don't see that on any the other bikes, Jap bikes. I got a mixture of anti-seize and white grease I put together. The white grease won't stick very long, but the anti-seize is pretty sticky, so let's try that. Get that back in there. There, it goes in a lot easier than it came out. There. Should work. I don't know why they put that tab there. Huh. Don't know. This cotter pin might be too big. I think I got one size too big. Ugh. Spring is another whole ball game. Sounds like metal, but I don't think it is any metal. I think it's just hitting that plastic. Oh. That's the little Harley locking mechanism. When the bike sits down and then lifts up, it locks into that location there. Supposed to. Oh, there we go. It's really spring loaded, but that locks it in. I don't think this battery was dead. Look at the frickin' light reflection I got on here. Anyways, I think when this bike wouldn't start there a week or two ago, man, there's a lot of glare. It's all the lighting in here. I'm gonna paint these walls. Yeah, when this bike wouldn't start a couple weeks ago, like it's just dead, nothing. And I had it running like 2 weeks before. And it has that new lithium battery, and I forgot there's a little check button on that. I should have checked that right away. I took the battery out and I put it on the charger, and the needle went up high, but within like 5 minutes it dropped right down to only drawing a couple amps. So to me it wasn't discharged. I believe those have hibernation switch on. If the bike's sitting for so long, it shuts the battery off, and you got to hit that button to restart it. I got a little booklet with it, and I got to read more on it. But I think that's what happened. I know the Toyota Prius cars have that. If you leave them sitting in your garage, you go to Florida for a couple months, you come back, it won't start. It shows that everything's dead. but what's happened is it's gone into hibernation mode. When it sees a slow trickle jaw for so long, it just shuts itself off. And there's actually a way to, on the Toyota Prius, there's a way to put some little jumper cables in there and you just give it a little click. I don't know if there's two ways of doing it on the Prius. One's with the little jumper cables, you just give a little click with the voltage and the battery's fully charged. And I think there's a button you can push on it as well too. And it just signals the thing to get back to work. So I think that's what that button is on there. I'm going to try it next time. But the hard thing about this bike is you got to take the air breather and everything out of the bike. You got to take all the air box and everything all out to get at that battery. And then this is another mod, another option. I kind of like to keep it as stock as possible, but there's just things that, you know, that like that side stand, little things that just don't work quite right. So what people are doing is they're getting rid of this whole air box, this whole top cover, because that's the only air allowed into the engine right there. So it's pretty restricted. But what they're doing is you got to keep the velocity stacks on, but they're cutting out this whole inside piece and getting rid of it, and then putting the sensor. I believe that's a temperature sensor. Some are saying it's a map, or not the map sensor, or map sensor. They're calling it's a temperature sensor. I'm pretty sure that's what that one is. I'll double check that. But anyways, you can still hook up your breather hoses to it. You leave that all on. You leave the connection on there for the breather hose. You just cut out around it, and that way, when you just pop the fake gas tank cover off, your battery's right there. You know, I could hit that button or give it a quick charge. You know, I wouldn't mind doing that, cutting it down and doing that, but then finding another air box somewhere, which I probably should find, because a lot of guys are removing them and they're putting on these upgrade kits. So I think I could find another air box. Yeah, then you just drive it with this one on there. So I might just do that. It's just so much easier than taking all these bolts out every single time to get at it. You have a lot more access under there, and it's going to breathe a lot better. So I might just do that. Put that hose back on. I know I changed these a couple months ago, because the other ones, the grips were worn out on them. A little bit different shape, the original ones, but these ones work pretty good. But I wanted to try these floorboards, and I thought I'd pull this pin out and check it. And I just pulled that out. I haven't wiped that off or nothing. That it's bone dry. It's like everything I'm taking apart on this thing is bone dry. So I'm going to put a little bit of white grease on that. And it's a plastic bushing in there, and that's already getting rusty. That's a plastic bushing there. So yeah, I'm going to pack this with white grease, put that back in. These things are fully adjustable, and so we'll see how that works. Okay, these things you can set the angle up or down, and I'm trying to set it. Trying to hold this camera with one hand. Oh, there we go. Like that. I like to set it so I can just get my boot underneath it when I'm cruising. You know, just put it like that. I want to be able to get my boot underneath that. So that's just about perfect right there. Keeps my foot a little flatter, a lot less likely for my foot to slip right off the thing. There's just one thing that I'm not too keen on. These are from Amazon, but I bought them off a girl on Facebook for, I think, 80 bucks or something like that. And I think she paid 120. I'll have to look it up what they cost. I was kind of hoping this thing would pop up more like this, but they pop this way if you hit something. So I might have to put a little rubber guard right there. Not likely that's going to happen. And they're also a little bit too loose. You're going to need 2 spacers in there. There's only 1 spacer on this, so I'm going to order some more spacers, and I'm going to order a rear breather tube. This one's starting to get kind of fucked up, and I just put the brand new one on there. These ones are held on with clamps like that. That's not factory. I think they're normally those snap rings on there. But what I'm doing is, because you can't get at that screw underneath there, is I put some black RTV silicone around on the inside of this pipe, slid it on there, letting it cure. And I won't do that on the top. The top, I'll put a clamp on the top. That way you can get at it, and then if you ever want to get this off someday, just give her a good twist, or cut it with a knife and cut it off. But that'll stop it also from leaking down through the bottom of that. That's where you get a lot of the oil leaks, is that top breather tube. Okay, I think I'm gonna take the spacer off of that one and so I have 2 spacers in here. They're like little spring washers, and see if that tightens it up, because that's gonna rattle. That's too loose. Either that, I'll have to make a spacer. Okay. Yeah, these are these little spring spacers. You can see they're kind of concave a little bit, and I'm gonna need 2 of them on each side. There we go, got the 2 of them in there. I used my punch to get them aligned, and yeah, that's a lot firmer now. I can almost cut that corner off a little bit, but I don't know, hopefully. And that's the shield. The only way it's going to hit if I go down, so hopefully never go down. Now there is another option. These things have multiple holes here, so I could move it back to this hole, and then it would swing in here. As long as my foot can still go under there. I'm going to try that. Put it in the middle of the road. That's better. It's a little bit more firmer too, being in the center. A lot more travel room. I could almost just nick that corner off there and it would swing right past. So that's better. A lot more movement there. I think that's gonna look good. Now I just gotta order the parts for the other side. Minus 10 degrees Celsius, plus 7 Fahrenheit. January 15th, I think. Maybe 16th. 16th, 17th, 18th, yeah. 16th. I finally got the tank off of my XJ900. I just siphoned it dry. I'll put that into my truck because that gas is a year old, but it was ethanol free, so it should be still good. Doesn't smell too bad, but not good. Because I want to get the carbs off of that XJ900, because even though it's got a brand new carb kit and everything, this cylinder here leaked, and I'm making a balancer tube so I can balance it. So I want it, while I got the carbs off, I want to make sure that port's cleaned right out and see if I can fit my steel rod in there to block the passageways off without it getting seized in there. At the same time, I'm checking for my chicken feed. The mice have been getting into it, and they filled that air box completely full of the wheat, and I suspect that one's going to be full. I should be checking my wife's car because she hardly ever drives it. Guaranteed they won't be the air box for the engine in the car. It'll be the fresh air filter, cabin filter, because that one gets filled up with mice nests all the time. So I just started to take this the air box off, and I just started to pull this out. You can see some of the wheat's falling out here already, so I don't know what's in here. I don't even know how these mice, why they get into there. Look at that, another one. Look at that. That's how my V-rod was, but it was about 2 inches deep on that V-rod all around the filter. Like, that's crazy. That pisses me off. Now I gotta check that bike next. Like, how did they even find the hole to get in there? I don't know how that filter's even dirty. I've hardly ridden this bike a couple times. Pretty sure that was new. Yeah, I'm gonna scoop that up, throw that in for the chickens. Is this how they're getting in there? Huh. I don't know how those mice are getting around. But I got this all loosened off, just trying to get some more free play here. It should come back to the frame. So there's something holding me up. Oh, it's that screw right there. I got one more screw to undo right there. I got all these ones off, but there's one more right there. Then this box will come back. That's antifreeze. Went to start my truck this morning, get it warmed up. Got inside of it, it was still cold. Look at you guys. You guys are doing good with the temperature. And my truck was still cold, and the window wasn't defrosted yet. And it's cold out this morning. Minus 25 Fahrenheit, I think, or something. Or what's Celsius? 0. Yeah, so like 10 degrees Fahrenheit. There's minus 25. Really cold. So yeah, when I noticed my truck wasn't defrosting, and then and the truck wasn't warm on the inside, I right away realized it's got to be low on antifreeze, and I check it every week, that antifreeze, because these are bad for leaking down, and this one's never leaked down since I had it. Check the reservoir in here, it's always full, it's perfect. And today I opened up the hood, boom, empty. And then I started to notice a puddle like this, where it's leaking out. And I'm hoping it's a rad hose, the lower rad hose down here. But I gotta pull off the lower, there's a plastic cover under there. It's either that or it's a rad. And these trucks are bad for the rad too. I'm just trying to let it thaw out a little bit before I get under there. And then the other thing too is, like, since this thing was always full, like never low, I've never taken this cap off. So I had to use my great big channel locks to get it off. And in the meantime, it came apart. The inner gut stayed in here, so I tried to chisel it out, pry it out, and it's stuck right in. I'm gonna heat it up with a heat gun and see if I can get it out. Maybe now that it's thawed out, I might be able to get it out, and then I'll have to get a new cap because there's a valve in here. This holds the pressure for the radiator, so I'll have to go to the junkyard and steal one off an old truck or something. But the main thing is I want to determine right now, and I don't have any wheels. My wife's gone to Toronto to pick up my daughter at the airport, which that flight's 2 hours late because of the weather. Snowstorm out east. And I'm kind of out in the sticks here, so I don't really have any way to get any parts, but I want to at least determine what it is. If it's a rad, and then I can start shopping for a rad, or if it's just a hose. If it's a hose, I'll replace them all. Okay, that's my job right now. Got a bunch of stuff apart, and got the lower rad hose off. And I'm hoping it's the lower rad hose clamp, because you can see it's broken, it's rotted in half. So there was no tension left on it. I'm pretty sure that's where it was leaking. It broke when I undid the top, and it's really tight, still working good. I started to undo this one, and it just crumbled in my hand. So I got a feeling that's my issue. I hope so. But in the meantime, I think you can see where that's swollen there. I'm going to get a newer rad hose, a new lower one, and some clamps. And you can see where somebody's double clamped this one before too. Like, maybe I'll get both hoses. I don't know. It's not in bad shape. But I think that's the problem. There's that lower clamp. There's no holes in it. And that's where she was pissing out. I couldn't see it leaking out of the rad. It was just pouring out down there, and it was pouring out as quick as I poured it in here, so into the reserve tank. Yep, I think I'm gonna try that. See if I can zoom in there right. That's minus 17 Fahrenheit, or no, minus 12 Fahrenheit, I believe. 10, 12, 13 maybe. Minus 25 Celsius. And it was actually a little bit colder than that a few minutes ago. I should have filmed it. That's the coldest I've ever seen it here. February 19th, 2025. You can see that's minus 9. It was minus 10 probably half hour ago. Fahrenheit. And that's minus 23 Celsius. That's as cold as I've ever seen it here. My chickens aren't producing very good in this cold, but they still come out. I gotta find them a nice snack, then they'll produce. How to peel an egg. Hit it on the tips. It peels off almost in one peel. May 24th, I believe today. Saturday, I got 3 chickens. And the 4th one, I think they call it brooding, won't come out of here. It's been in here for a week. I gotta keep shuffling them out every couple days. No eggs over there. Don't know what to do with that guy. You're supposed to push him out and lock the door so he stays out all day. So I may do that. Last week it was 78 degrees, almost 80 degrees out. And then today is about 42 degrees. What's that, 6 degrees Celsius. Oh, turn the radio off. And I left off the last video there with my truck in here still. And yeah, it was that rad hose. I replaced the rad hose, lower clamps, and it's run perfect since, that truck. And I'm back to this bike. Yeah, I got the tank off, and I'm gonna start working on this the next day or two. I got the petcock out again because these vacuum petcocks, wherever it is right here, they fail on the Seicas, Yamaha Seicas, and a lot of bikes they fail. There's a real small spring in there that's supposed to keep it closed. I've ordered the rebuild kit. I've rebuilt it. Actually, I did that a couple years ago and I wasn't sure if I replaced the diaphragm. I ordered another one. Same thing. It trickles. They leak by. So I'm trying to clean up that valve in there and fix that. But I've left this off. This has been like this for like a month or so now anyways, maybe 2 months. Yeah, a couple months. And I'm thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking. Yeah, if you take your time and you got lots of time, you can think your way out of a mess. So this thing was always leaking before. They all leak. And I put a check valve. I put a little one-way valve in downline so it could always shut the fuel off. I just didn't trust that because after I put this all together and rebuilt it, this thing was leaking oil or leaking gas because it just wouldn't shut off. And I had a number one cylinder had a leaky valve seat, I think, but it could be one of these cross tubes. I'm going to do a bench test on this here in the next day or two. But I'm thinking and thinking and thinking. I had this thing apart like 50 times. And I'm pushing my finger on the valve and I can seal it up. I can't blow through it. And if I just take a little bit of pressure off, it leaks by. I tried cleaning the seat up, new O-rings. No, I don't trust it. So what I'm gonna do, I gotta take this apart again. I'm just going to make this valve here on, off, because I can put it on prime with this completely blocked off and the fuel will run through. And then if I turn it to reserve or on, it's going to shut it off. I'm going to block that valve off is what I'm going to do. I just got to figure that out, but I know I can do it. Epoxy it or something. And yeah, that's where I'm at with that. This is the next project. Had that bike out a few times, put probably a couple 100 miles on it. Runs beautiful. Got the floorboards on, the side stand on, the backrest on. And this backrest isn't big enough to put on my big travel bag. But I do have a smaller tank bag I'm going to modify. Somewhere over there I got a tank bag I'm going to modify so it'll sit right on there. Okay, I'm going to finish up this video. I'm going to call this video quits. And I'm going to sell the Yamaha Venture. I'm just too old and it's too big. I wanted to do a trip to BC my whole fucking life on a bike. Time has passed me by. And it's just, it's the pain. I can't, my shoulders, my hips, it's just a pain. Maybe I could do it, just do 100 miles a day or a couple 100 miles a day and that'd be it. But I don't know, that's thousands of kilometers, 3,500, 4,000, 8,000, 10,000 there and back. Can't do it. Can't do it. Selling that one, and then the XJ900 when I get it up and running, I'm going to sell that one. That bike's completely gone through, and I want to get the carbs balanced so it runs smoother. Because I had it running before, it ran fine, but it wasn't running right. But it's because the carbs aren't balanced properly. I'm going to eliminate all this stuff. I'm 65 in a couple weeks. I'm just going to keep the V-Rod, and I'll ride that for now, for as long as I can. Unless I find another new project to replace it. But I just got to start thinning stuff out and get rid of stuff. I don't have the motivation I had a few years ago to rebuild all these bikes all the time. And I think a change of plans. I think a change of plans is needed. I think I'm getting worn out, but I'll still put videos out and I'll still do some fun projects. So, oh yeah, my Norton. I'm going to finish that Norton. So by eliminating these two bikes, I can 100% focus on this Norton. And that's my goal. I'm kind of getting excited about this again. It's just that first Norton took me like 5 years to rebuild that. And when that ignition system went on it, I don't know what video it was, video 130 or something like that. And I think that might have been partly what screwed up my hip from kicking that bike hundreds of times, because it would run and spark. I had good spark and run, and then it would die. And I checked the spark, checking the carbs, checking everything over and over and over again. And this happened to me when I first got my motorcycle mechanic's license 40 years ago on XS650 Yamaha, where I check it for spark and get the bike running, and it would run and die and not run right, and checking the carbs, checking against good spark, good spark, good spark. But under compression, which you can't see, you create resistance, and then the spark becomes poor. That's what happened in the Norton. That's what happened in that XS650 Yamaha, 1972, I think it was. And put on that Yamaha, it was the coil, but on the Norton, it was the ignition box, because the coils were brand new on that Norton. That killed me. That mentally fucking killed me. I worked that many years on that bike. I had it running beautifully, and all of a sudden it started to not run right. And I replaced the carbs, replaced everything on it. So that bike was like new, but I did sell that Norton Commander to a local guy here, and he just loves it. But I'm going to finish this bike. That's coming up. I just want to get rid of these two, get them up and running. Anybody looking for in Ontario, Canada, or in Michigan, that 1986 Yamaha Venture 1300 cc's, only got 30,000 kilometers on it, I believe. 35,000 kilometers, which is nothing on these bikes. You could put 200,000 on them. And I've gone through that whole bike, new fork seals, new back tires, everything on that bike. I've gone to redid the valves because they should be checked after 20K, and then I just checked them again. So the valves are set for life now. New pipe, new exhaust pipes, even though the other ones are in still good shape up there, that I'll throw them with the buyer. I'm asking $2,000 for it, Canadian, and which is like 1,500, not even 1,500 American, is it? No, not even 1,500 American right now. It's got brand new tips on the exhaust as well too. And yeah, I'm gonna see what I get for this bike and sell it. It's perfect. That bike runs beautiful. And then this bike, so rare, only 500 made, and all the paint and everything's in great shape on it. I'd like to get close to 3 for that, to at least 2,500. But I'm gonna put that one on as soon as I get the tank back on and the carbs back on and balanced next couple weeks. Okay, that's it for this video.